you keep track of. Okay, since you keeping track of the numbers, do you? Because I've been trying to ask this question for the last what? I don't know, not for you, Rick, but I'm just saying. I think it was like 83 weeks or something. I've been asking this question, and you sound like you good with numbers. Do you know how many pay-per-view buys that BLK Prime did with David Evanesian versus Terence Crawford?
No, because they never released them. But what I was told was somebody told me in this country they did 49,000, and with overseas they did like 119. I believe was the number. 107,
119,000.
117. I think it was 49 in the United States and 117 overall.
But
But
your attorney,
I don't know that to be a fact. That's what I was told, but didn't come from my source. No, because they
uh,
never
but
reported the numbers. They never reported them.
but the source, your attorney, can't he go over there and get access to all of those numbers over
No,
there with
not
BLK?
no. They have no. They weren't reported. We looked into it, and they were reported. Remember something? They have their own app, and they're putting out their own stuff. They're not going through any providers. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I do. I just want
Okay.
the audience to understand you as
Okay.
well. When you
Very good.
talk about when you talk about going through the providers, obviously this
Hmm.
is how you gain access to knowing what those four numbers are.
Hmm.
What was your assessment of the $1.2 million that you say that Ryan Garcia did with Tank Davis?
1.2 million buys.
Yeah, right. 1.2 million buys
Right.
that Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia did.
My assessment was it was a big fight. Ryan Garcia's got 10 million Instagram followers. He's on all kinds of talk shows, TV shows, radio shows. He's a mega draw, and that was the big push with that fight. And it was a great fight. It was a fight that people wanted to see, and it was a cultural clash between a black American and a Mexican American. And those are the ones that draw the big numbers.
That is correct. You're absolutely correct. Now, I did hear through the grapevine, and I don't have any sources at all, but I heard through the grapevine that those numbers of 60,000 were not true with regards to Tank Davis and Hector Garcia.
They were absolutely true. What's his name tried to say that was just the streaming number. Stephen Espinoza, when he was asked about it, it's the total buys by consumers on all platforms. That means digital. That means home. That means satellite. Home cable,
Yeah.
satellite, and streaming. It was 61,000 buys.
So wait a minute. So Steven Espinosa disagreed with your source, the attorney?
Well, of course, he's going to disagree. Of course. What do you think? He's going to admit to doing 61,000 home? But he did admit that didn't do anywhere near the 200,000 rumored figure.
I
He
see.
did. He did say that.
All right, let me get these super chats. Hold on one second, Rick. This is customary on this channel.
No
We have
problem.
all eyes low. Thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel. I got my guy, day one supporter, Mr. Pragmatic. He says support for the channel. Keep bringing the great content, Marty. Much love and respect to you, Mr. Greg. Mr. Prag. Sorry about that, Mr. Prag. And then my guy, another day one supporter, Matthew Thomas. Thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel. He says, let the teacher teach. And he was not referring to you, Rick. He was talking about me because they know what I do on this channel. Now,
That's why I'm here to help. Thank you.
Mr. Rick, let's get back to something you said. You and I
Sure.
both know the business of boxing very well. Of course, you have a lot of more experience than I do when it comes to the game. But I'll tell you, I'm one of the shrewdest guys in this business. Now, we know the business. You mentioned the word nobodies. You said earlier that, PBC, Al Heyman, the promoters, etc., have put their fighters in the ring with nobodies and overpaid them. Isn't it customary that all promoters put their up and coming stars in the ring with quote unquote, as you call them, nobodies to build them up?
No, that's not was not never my point.
Is it
My
customary
point,
though? Is it customary in the business?
yes, but that wasn't
All
my
right.
point.
Okay.
My point was that he overpaid his fighters greatly to fight nobodies. was the
Hey,
statement
that
I
sounds like
made.
a good idea. That sounds like a good thing, if you ask me.
No, it wasn't a good thing because now it backfired on him. He ran out of money. PBC owes $900 million to White Owl Reed. Okay, that's public. You do know that, right?
That is public.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be public. I don't really get into the financial pockets of other people because the bottom line is
Well,
these
you
fighters are
you
getting.
should if you're talking about the business of boxing, you should know that Al Heyman blazed through $900 million of money, and it caused a whole calamity in the business where his fighters don't want to fight for what he can pay him now because he ran out of money. That's
Well, the
why they're
bottom
only fighting.
and guess what, Rick? They still signed Terence Crawford. They still signed Canelo. The fighters that's under their
No,
banner,
no,
they
no, no.
still
They
getting
didn't.
paid.
No,
They
no.
still getting
Incorrect.
paid.
No, incorrect.
All right.
Incorrect. Showtime
What's
signed them.
huh?
Show Showtime. Let me
Signed
explain.
who?
Let
Signed who?
let me explain. Don't interrupt me.
Go ahead.
Okay. Stephen Espinoza recently said that Terence Crawford is not a PBC fighter or a Showtime fighter. He's got 2 fights and he's out of there. Okay. He may stay, he may go. Okay. The fact is, Showtime is financing everything PBC is doing now. Okay. PBC ran out of money. The reason
So
why Jermel didn't fight the guy from Poland was because he thought he was going to get his typical 2.5 million or 3 million for the fight, and Heyman offered him 750, and then he refused to fight. Okay, that's what happened because there's no money to fall back on to overpay these guys like there was before because the 900 million dried up. That money ruined the business and sport, and it ruined the mentality of fighters wanting to fight competitive fights. Thinking he was going to get that Polish guy who can't fight a lick, okay, going to get 2.5 or 3 million to fight him. Heyman and Showtime wanted to pay him 750, and he balked.
how do you
That's
know
what's
that, Rick?
going on.
No
What?
disrespect. I'm asking you, how do you know how much they was trying to pay this guy?
How do I know who's paying what? Trying to pay who?
I did Abu. Come on, Rick. You smarter than
A
that. I'm
boo
asking you a
what?
direct question. How do you know that Al Heyman and Steven was trying to pay this guy a certain amount of money?
Jamel Charlo told people. He told multiple people. Multiple people.
I
He
didn't
was
hear him
pissed
say that.
off.
That's why I'm asking you.
He was pissed off. Told people. Told multiple people actually.
Well, Rick, it sounds like you know a lot about PBC. Why don't you just go work for them? You know enough about their business.
I don't need to work for PBC. My business is ultra successful. I do not need PBC. I don't need any one account. I have 47 clients. They're all happy and I'm happy.
And I'll tell you what, I'm even happy that you're doing well. The thing
Thank you.
about it, no problem. You're welcome. The thing about it that might sound misleading when you say that, and you did agree with me that promoters do have fighters that they're having up in the up in the up and coming ranks to pay
Absolutely.
for.
But they don't
Nobody.
overpay their fighter to fight them.
Hey, the bottom line is the fighters got paid. Isn't that you and I in the business for the fighters to get
No,
paid?
no, no, I'm
Oh,
not.
that's what I'm
I'm
in the
in the
business to get. That's why
well,
I'm in the
well,
business.
that's
I'm
why
in the
I'm
business
not a
for the
manager.
fighters to get paid.
That's why I'm not a manager.